How we operate, we have a hub at Curtin University, 2 full-time people. That'll go to 4 next year because we've got renewed funding from the Mental Health Commission. We also use students on their practicums to do fact sheets and other sorts of things. One did a great cartoon for primary school kids and for high school kids. And we get the Health Promotion Association scholarship people on 6 monthly things, and they do things. We now have a new graduate working on a health promoting schools framework to take Act Belong Commit into schools, because we've had a number of schools approach us just proactively to become Act Belong Commit schools anyway. We run statewide television advertising. We'd like to expand that out. We did an animated version initially because it was country. We didn't have to use people. We didn't therefore have to have young, old, Indigenous, multicultural, etc., etc. And then, of course, it had to be rural for the pilot. And then we would have had to change it coming back. And through some contacts, we knew animators. So that's why we had that sort of a campaign. So we send out press releases to our people, sponsorships. Healthway backs it a lot. We now have a radio ad. And again, it's all reactive to demand. So people approach us because we don't have the staff actually to hit the road and do them. Other than me, I can travel to Brisbane and sort of.
You hear people talking about having a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan. Sometimes they're a bit extreme, like starting a whole new career. And sometimes they're smaller goals, like taking up a hobby or volunteering for a good cause. It doesn't matter how big or small your goal is, as long as you commit to it. Because when you set goals, your life has more direction, more meaning. So figure out what it is you want to achieve and then set your mind to making it happen. To find out more, check out actbelongcommit.org.au.
That was one of the radio stations that has a mainly young audience, and that's one of the announcers. So we wrote an ACT ad, a Belong ad and a Commit ad, and then they got to it and younged it down a bit, and they've run that, and that's had a great response. And it's a very cheap way to add on, and it reaches that younger group on the FM stations that it's gone out on. How we cooperate, if you like, and when I was talking to Ivan this morning, it sums up as there are organisations we partner with who promote the message out there in their own communities, and organisations that just want the message and they want to live the message. So it's sort of more an adoption of an ethos thing. So we call the first lot franchisees. These people sign up, sign in a formal MOU, and they appoint a part-time FTE against a project officer in local government, maybe a recreation officer or the health promotion officer or community development officer, whatever it might be, or any other organisation. So they actually take it on, we provide them with a certain amount of merchandise, they print more, and their project officer runs out and did what our project officers used to do during the pilot. So they're mainly local governments and the WA Country Health Services, some women's health centres and so on are doing that. Others that we call the adopters, they're the ones who want to live the message. And that's mainly things like schools, sport and rec clubs, the Surf Lifesaving Association in Western Australia. A small yacht club recently wanted to join up, a running club. And it's not as though they're going to go promote the message widely, but internally they want to make their members more aware of mental health, community, resilience, belonging. They're not necessarily thinking mental health in the same way we are, but they're thinking connections, volunteering, resilience, commitment, all those things that make up good mental health. Then we've got partners who share resources in specific campaign components, and I'll show you some examples of this, like the Department of Sport and Rec. We do a joint advertising campaign. Council on the Ageing, we do a joint courses for seniors about preparing for retirement. And what we call incorporators. These may use the Act Belong Commit message in their own health and wellness program. So they might be a worksite program or a therapy group that wants to use the thing. And in that sense, that's in the public domain. They just take our fact sheets and other sorts of things, but they let us know, and of course within their campaign they talk about the Act Belong Commit messages. So they're the four types we have, and there are, as I said, Healthway sponsorships, which really help us take the message out much broadly. This was one of the biggest sponsorships we've had, the HBF Fun Run for a Reason. And I was thinking, what could we do to attract attention. So we bought these suits, which I promised the staff I would wear too, but as the day approached, I reconsidered that and allowed them to I wanted to devolve, let them own it, you know what I mean? So anyway, we still weren't sure how this would work with all these people running around these, and they had balloons and that as well, but it actually dominated the media. I mean, we had transfers that went out to them and all that sort of thing, but these people, and there they are, got their way to the front, of course, so take off, and that's that's the shot that most of the media takes. And they were the sort of big balloons, which was a bit of a drag when you're trying to do a fun run, but it sort of worked in terms of thing. And that's where a number of organisations rang us after that and said, how do we get involved, how do we become partners with it, and so on. So the Department of Environment and Conservation has always been a good partner with us in terms of sharing resources. A Park of the Month in our newsletter, we include that. The Grow a Healthy Outlook is a postcard that they've got out now. And then the Back to Nature movement have just approached us. Richard Louv visit, talking about nature deficit disorder amongst young kids. But that works very well with us at our Feeling Blue, Act Green and just getting back to nature. Council on the Ageing, they use Beyond Blue to talk about depression amongst oldies. And the head of COTA said, trouble is that all the oldies walk out depressed after it. And he'd heard about Act Belong Committee, so will you do a cheer 'em up afterwards session to follow about all the positive aspects of getting older and what you can do. So we worked on that, Lottery West gave us a little money there too as well. We put together a package, trained up their peer educators, got the evaluation of now, got the Minister to launch it, and that served as a model for some other packages as well. Surf Lifesaving, again, just sort of put a tip of the week on there, and they're very interested, you see, in keeping the community involved in what they do, lessen their alcohol type image that they have, and also put their younger kids more on a sort of positive mental health track right from the start. Department of Sport and Rec, I'll show you, we did these posters and sent them out to GPs, put them in clubs and that all the way, and then we ran this ad concurrently.
Keeping mentally healthy is just as important as staying physically healthy, and it's as easy as ABC. Act, Belong, Commit.
Hi, Adrian Barrich here. You know, joining a club is a great way to act, belong, commit. And you can find a club at the Department of Sport and Rec's website. Go on, join up, join in, and enjoy life more.
Keeping mentally healthy helps you cope better with problems and stress. You'll simply feel happier too. To find out more, visit this website or call the number.
So they were very happy because the hits to the website went through the roof compared to when they'd done a campaign on their own beforehand. And it's good for us because we get a concrete message about how you can act, belong, commit. And Adrian Barrich is a Channel 7 celebrity, so he did the ad for nothing and Channel 7 put it together. We've got a module in pain clinics which are run through a couple of hospitals now. I go over that. We had a cooking competition all based around Act, Belong, Commit, getting together, stimulating your mind with different recipes, eating together, providing the food for people in need and so on, which comes out with a Happy Heart, Happy Mind cookbook. There's that. These are things to come, but working up actually the psychotherapy module. There's something happening with a group at Joondalup Health Centre, schools framework I've told you about, an Indigenous pilot, and a Muslim women's group approached us to do put in for a research proposal to test out, first translate our material into Arabic, Muslim, with modifications on the customs and so on, and then once we've got that going, see how it runs in a Indonesian Malay Muslim group. So that'll be a very interesting study when we get it on, and we'll be using some of the Quran to base the message there. I've already had a bit of a look, and the Quran says you should do a good deed for somebody every day, which is right on our message. They're some of the resources that we've got. You can look up on the website. Diffusion, very quickly, Mental Health Council of Australia have been doing some things. Victoria, 15 sites now, a couple of local governments, Primary Care Network, Northwest Area Mental Health Service, incorporated Act, Belong, Commit into their mental health plan. very upmarket school at Tarak College has adopted it as their school ethos to take the kids out into the community, the more disadvantaged community. So belonging to the school, belonging to their family, but you belong to a community, so you're going to get out there, raise money for refugees, bring Aboriginal kids down on scholarships and so on. And also the community kitchen that they do there as well. And Queensland, of course, we think is going to be the first hub outside WA with a major statewide campaign sweeping across. One of the good signs that we're starting to get there is that this was actually come with a big picture. It's on the travel page, and where I've sort of says there's evidence to suggest that healthy people are active people, right? And aren't we always being told to act, belong and commit? But if you have any of the curse of gypsy blood in your veins, then the ABC is probably more in line with adventure begets curiosity, and then on it goes. So it's a sort of sign of we finally got there when a travel page writes it up and talks about act, belong, commit. So there we are. Visit the website, talk to Terry, talk to Jeff, and join up and join in.